Welcome to week 4 of our fantasy football fuck around minus Trevor. He's moved up to Los Angeles, and I have taken over his rightful spot, or wrongful spot, at the Bodziak house where I grew up. So these are the new digs. Yeah, here it is. Hope you guys like it. That being said, I got to do our final preseason. Can you believe it? The season's starting. Our final preseason video podcast on what's going on with the league, and I just wanted to say, go over what's going on with the players and what's going on with the league, and inform you guys on a few things. Forgive me, it's a Tuesday, so I've been working all day and I'm very tired, so if I drawl out, I apologize. A couple of things. First, I want to welcome you guys all to the house on opening Sunday. That'll be at 11681 Argyle in Los Alamitos, in case you forget where we did the draft. Feel free to come on over. There's not going to be as many games. Remember, the first game is a Wednesday night game with the Giants versus the Cowboys. There's a Thursday night game and then Sunday games, although the Sunday schedule will be much shorter because there's going to be 2 Monday night games. So, hope to see you guys on opening weekend. Football is here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That being said, it's been kind of quiet in the league, not a lot of posts, and I think most everybody's content with their team and where it stands. Of course, there's always trade rumors going around, but so far there's only been one trade that's happened, and it's going to take some time before any others do. I think people want to kind of see what they actually have over the first couple of weeks. But it is kind of exciting to kind of see where everybody is at and watch the preseason games. Don't know if you guys have been watching the preseason games. Some of the notes that I've taken that I am just kind of seeing. Stock watch, I guess you could call it. We've got to start in Denver. Peyton Manning has been fantastic. I think you guys have been able to see that. Last Sunday I was at a bar, and I watched that game along with the Dodger game, and he looks spectacular. He is looking sharp. The ball is leaving his hands just awesome. And anybody that has quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends that are associated with the Denver Broncos, they're going to be happy. So Jesse with Peyton Manning. Trevor's got tight end Tammy, and I believe that Andrew has Demarius, and I have Eric Decker, who also has been his #1 target, targeted more than any wide receiver in the preseason with a couple of touchdowns. So big Eric Decker fan. Sean's got to be happy that Jake Locker has won the job in Tennessee, and despite going about 50% on his throws, he's been throwing for massive yardage. In a first half, he threw for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that's going to be comforting to Sean for his quarterback resolution. And Trevor's got to be happy, my long-lost fantasy football fuck around, in that Chris Johnson has looked sharp as well. In limited carries, nonetheless, he's done well. In Seattle, Russell Wilson has been named the starting quarterback, which does 2 things. 1, helps out Salo and his depth. 2, cripples Chris King and Matt Flynn. Now, that doesn't mean that Matt Flynn can't take over that starting job, but that's a hurting one come week 1. That's too bad. A couple other things have happened. LeGarrette Blount has lost his job. I've always been a big LeGarrette fan, and just because of his big bruising way that he punches people in college, but he's lost his job to Doug Martin. Martin was a sexy sleeper, and it looks like it's going to be wide awake come week 1. So it looks like he's won the starting job. Ryan Williams looks like he's going to be taking over the job in Arizona. I don't know off the top of my head who has Ryan Williams, but if you're a Beanie Wells holder, and I don't know who has Beanie Wells, there's a little bit of concern in Arizona. That being said, since the passing game is so weak, it might not be that big of a deal. In Washington, the running back carousel keeps going around, and if you're like me and has a running back, don't fall into shenanigans, because that is just going to go really bad. Same thing's happening in Detroit, where you have uh, Javid Best on the pup. Kevin Smith is injured, and as of today, Florio from Pro Football Talk has said that the Detroit Lions are looking for running backs. LaShore looks great, which will make Sean happy, but he's going to be out for the first couple of weeks. So it'll be really interesting to see if they bring in a free agent. Either way, that is a passing-oriented team. Not a lot of value in the running game there. Where there might be value in the running game is a team that can't pass, and that would be Jacksonville. Unfortunately, Mojo is going to be looking like he's going to miss week 1. Rashad Jennings, once again, DeSalvo is a fantastic late draft pick. Looks like he'll be picking up the ball and running with it. That being said, that's kind of going over what maybe some of the positives are that I've seen out of preseason. Some of the negatives, the quarterback situation, I already touched on that for Matt Flynn. Sam Bradford has been having a real hard time getting protection, and that's been unfortunate. Same with Carson Palmer. His wide receivers have been going down quickly. Denarius Moore's out, Jacoby Ford's out, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there without a viable number 1 option, unless you consider Darius Hayward-Bay a viable number 1 option. And if you do, wow, nice to meet you, Al Davis. The running back situations isn't that bad. I touched on LeGarrette losing his job, how bad things are in Washington. And there hasn't been enough injuries where anything too bad has happened. It has been nice to see RG3 getting a little bit of action. He's looked phenomenal. So is Andrew Luck. I think both of those guys are going to be solid number 2s for teams. It'll be really interesting to see what happens there. Same thing with Michael Bush in Chicago. I think Bush and Forte have been doing really well. Levy came out and said that he would like to see both of them get a 50-50 share and 1,000 yards each, which is great news for a Bush owner, not such good news for a Forte owner. I don't say that just because Trevor has Forte, because mind you, Steven has Bush. But it'll be really interesting to see what breaks out of that. And other than that, there's a lot of unknowns. There's unknowns with guys like Mojo, which I talked about. Ryan Matthews, will he make it back week 1? Who's going to actually get the ball in Pittsburgh now that Mendenhall's on the pup and Redmond's been a little bit injured? Do they give it to Dwyer? That'll be really interesting to see. Who's the number 1 wide receiver outside of the tight end in San Diego? So much going on. It'll be a fun week 1. That being said, I've gone over a plethora of things that I've seen over the preseason, and hope that you guys got a little bit about it on the Fantasy Football Fuck Around. Hope you guys looked at the projections for the year. It looks like there's going to be some really dominant teams by projections and some teams that are going to be having a hard time by projections. But if we went off of projections, nothing ever would happen in this league that was of any excitement. So everybody comes in week 1 with lots of hope, lots of encouragement, lots of excitement, as opposed to me as a Dodger fan with the Dodgers 3.5 back, sadly without much excitement except for fantasy football. So looking forward to seeing you guys more active on the boards. Don't spend this much time as commissioner and setting up things just to have you guys only use your rosters. Get in there. Post videos, get excited, do memes, let's get this shit fun. Starts next Wednesday, guys, and looking forward to it. For the final preseason week of Fantasy Football Fuck Around, this is the Commish.